What's popping off? Yo, this is Dr. Greenthumb, aka Be Real for the Dr. Greenthumb podcast, along with my co-host E-Zone and our very special guest, the legendary DJ Hurricane, my homie for over 20 years. At least.
Yeah, we here, baby. We still here though, right?
Right. Hey, first off, I want to salute you and thank you for invited me to the show that you host from your own home. I believe it's called Jay's Hat, right?
Absolutely, Jay's Hat. Yep.
And I'll tell you what, man. The way that you did that show and the way that you do that show, that shit inspired so many motherfuckers to, I'm not gonna say bite your shit because that's the word we used to use in the 90s when motherfuckers couldn't come up with their own shit. Bite,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But motherfuckers were definitely inspired by some of the shit, that they saw you do, and even from the look by wearing Jay's hat. There's a lot of motherfuckers now rocking, the hat scene. There goes C-. What's up, C-?
Yeah.
But I wanted to salute you because I thought the way that you did that was very intimate. With the artists that you knew, like all of us that are considered friends and family, and the performance, because it was really organic and it was dope because you was hosting it out of your crib. I thought that was key, and for a time like this that we're in quarantine, it's a dope idea still.
Yeah, and actually, B, I'm gonna start dropping those episodes in about 2 weeks. Reason why I hadn't dropped them yet, because we've been negotiating with 2 big companies to put it on their platform, but the paperwork they was giving us wasn't what we was looking for. So we was going back and forth with 2 big companies for like over a year and a half. You know how that go.
Yeah.
And then finally we just said, fuck it, we're gonna build our own app and put it on our own platform and keep it, for us. So, but the good thing is I had good people like you come through. I got like 40 shows in the pocket. You know what I mean? And
that's awesome. That's like 6 seasons at least.
Yeah.
So how many episodes you put out per? Because you could rock them in seasons with that much in the tank.
Exactly. And I got everybody. I even got Phife Dawg before he passed. So
rest in peace.
I got some classic shit that's not even. It's not even gonna look old. It's gonna look like we just did it yesterday.
Man, I mean? I can't wait to see that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's gonna be crazy. 2 weeks, baby.
Did that whole thing about you doing shows from your home, like that was like pre-quarantine, obviously, if you got like that many episodes. So it's just like, man, it's almost like you've been ahead of the game a bit. You're like, you know what? Like now's the time to roll them in because you got like a gang of them like at this point. What's some of the most craziest, like, I guess, experiences that happened during filming those episodes? Because I imagine doing so much trial and error doing it at home. Like how we're all figuring that shit out. I'm over here like, damn, I'm at home now.
Yeah. Well, I probably said one of the craziest ones when I had Keith Murray come over.
Oh yeah.
I keep Jam Master Jay's actual hat inside of a case in my house. So when the artists come upstairs, we get into a song. We don't do a whole song. We may do a verse or 2. Then we'll stop. We'll chop it up. Then I open up the glass case and have the artist put on Jay's hat, and then we get into another joint. Usually when I invite artists over, I try to tell them not to come deep. You know what I mean? Because it's like a small space.
And it's your crib.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't want a lot of people. But Keith Murray came over with about 15 to 20 people. And I'm like,
of course he did.
I'm like, yo, kid. I'm like, well, I just was like, yo, let me hurry up and get him out of here. So I do him, boom. And then he starts going down the stairs. He still got the hat on. I'm like, yo, where you going with that hat, player? You got to bring that hat back up here. So that was probably one of the craziest ones. But, we wound up having a good show with him, so that was cool.
Word, man. Homie's always been a character like that, man.
Yeah.
But for those watching, right? If y'all don't know who this man is, I'm just gonna give you some background. He is a legend. If you look at the old school footage of the Beastie Boys, you will see my man right here rocking the 1s and 2s because he was the man down there. And when we was rocking with the Beastie Boys in the early and mid 90s or whatever, we became brothers in that time, and we rock with each other till this day. But I wanted people to know in case they don't know. And man, you you did a lot of the work with them when shit was like at the beginning and at the crazy peak.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I was there from the beginning of the craziness to the calm down moments. You know what I mean?
What was it like? Because it's like watching the documentary and me being a friend of you guys, looking in from the outside, and then sometimes being around it. I mean, yeah, there was a radical change that happened from them like being these party animal crazy motherfuckers to now, we're gonna take our shit serious and flip it and be about something rather than party. That must have been a crazy transition, right?
It was a crazy transition for me from the beginning because you gotta remember, when I came in the game, I'm from Hollis, Queens, so I came up with Run DMC, Jam Master Jay. So Beastie Boys just opening up for the Raising Hell tour, which was Run DMC, Houdini, LL Cool J, and the Beastie Boys, the opening act. We used to just stand on the side and just watch them perform. They should be going crazy, throwing beers, whatever. But I never thought that I would actually have to help them out and DJ. So in the middle of the tour, they didn't have a DJ because Dr. Dre quit from the OTV Raps. He quit. And they knew I knew how to DJ because me and Jay used to be up there messing around and sound check, what have you. So, I didn't want to leave them hanging because, back then, without a DJ, you couldn't rock.
No. No one took it serious, yeah.
Yeah, you had to have a dope DJ back then, or somebody that can rock with you. So I didn't want to leave them hanging. So, I started doing it for them. And then License to Ill came out. Now, I had never hung around a bunch of crazy white kids before. Like I said, I come from Hollis, Queens. We probably had one white guy in the whole neighborhood.
Straight up hip hop shit. If there was white folks around, they were like massively hip hop heads.
Exactly.
It's a different type of white boy.
Right. So when I wound up getting on the License to Ill tour, I was out there by myself without Run DMC. So I was experiencing, it was the first time I ever experienced like stage diving and slam dancing. Yeah. That was the first time I experienced that in hip hop because, regular hip hop clubs, they wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
So when I got to Beastie Boys, 87 was the first time I started experiencing like slam dancing. I'm like, what are they doing out there? They're about to kill themselves. You know what I mean? Jumping on stage and busting their head, kids getting busted heads and still getting back out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So going from there and then watching the transition slow down, I was like, okay, now we mellowing out. We're getting older and we're mellowing out now. But the crowds were still crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The crowds were still slam dancing and doing the craziness. So the boys slowed down their craziness on stage. There was no more big dicks coming up out the crowd. There was no more MCA used to walk around. We used to count the bras that women throw on stage every night. It used to be like, oh, we only got 15 bras on stage tonight. Last night in Detroit, we had 25. Next thing you know, you get another 50 more bras coming on stage. All that was gone. So it was just the calm down part now. And, it was the shows were still energy though. You know what I mean? So it was still dope.
I remember our first show with you guys at the time. It was at I believe the fuck was it? I don't know if it was the Octagon. We did that with y'all, and it was one of our first like official big shows. You know what I'm saying? And we got up there, and we had never experienced a hip hop crowd like that, because it was like you said, it was the stage diving, the moshing, the shit. And that's when we started jumping in the crowds, bro. Like that show right there, we were like, oh shit, okay, this is the business. Wait a minute. So then Dog and I start diving in the crowds at that point. And the energy was crazy in that building. And we thought, man, we fucking rocked it. We fucking, we did our thing here. And then when you guys came on, it exploded. And I was like, oh, all right, yeah, that's how you rock it right there. We rocked it, but y'all rocked the fuck out of it, and it left a lasting impression on me on how we would do our shows as Cypress Hill later on, and then reconnecting with you guys on that tour. Which tour was that? It was with Rollins.
It was Check Your Head.
Check Your Head, the Check Your Head tour. that show right there in itself prepared us for that craziness to come later. You know what I'm saying? And I often thank the Beasties for that, because I mean, you know, they exposed us to their fan base, and we won a lot of those fans over that, you know, sort of became our fan base. And I just remember like the energy was so crazy in the crowds, but yet, yeah, they had mellowed out their shows. And it was crazy because we hooked up with them at the time when we were off the hook with our party, and you know what I mean? They had mellowed out, and here we come, and we are like the horrible influence, the horrible little brother influence that came in, and we corrupted Eric Bobo on that tour.
Oh man, but it was like the perfect mix with Cypress Hill and Beastie. It was like a perfect mix. Like the Beasties and Cypress could have been one group. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because everything tonight get mixed so perfectly, from the vocals to the voice to the beats. So when y'all did the remix for So What You Want, and when I first heard it, I was like, yo, this shit is crazy. Yo, I can't wait to rock this joint. You know what I mean? And
I would have loved to have been the fifth member of the Beastie Boys, dog. Come on.
That'd have been dope, yo. That'd have been dope. Yeah. I remember the first time, I don't know if I ever told you, the first time I heard a Cypress Hill record, I was in Queens, New York, playing basketball in the park. And DMC used to have this big Chevrolet truck with a crazy sound system. Supposed to meet me at the park. DMC pulls up to the park, and he's got the demo, like the promotional copy of the cassette, and he's blasting it. And what was he playing? Hand on the Pump. And he's blasting it. And I called to them like, yo, what is that? It's like, yo, it's Cypress Hill. So we start thinking Cypress Hill was from Brooklyn, because there's an area called Cypress Hill in Brooklyn. You know what I mean? So I remember I took that tape from D that night. It was I think it was a red promotional tape.
Yeah.
Was it red?
Yeah.
Yeah. I took that tape from D that night and I was rocking it.
I gotta say, man, you know, King DMC and the Beasties, you know, they always showed Cypress love like that. And, you know, and that was great to us, because I mean, these were the two groups, along with Public Enemy, that were like our main influences. You know what I'm saying? The Beastie Boys and Run DMC and fucking Public Enemy. Those were our first, like, you know, solid fucking hip hop influences, and what molded us as a group, you know. And eventually EPMD would come along and, you know, just flip the shit too, you know. And so it was always great when dudes like that validated you like that, man. And it was awesome, man. And touring with y'all was fun. I mean, goddamn, that was a fun tour.
Remember the first time I took Bobo on your bus, and boy, it was a smoke fest on there.
Yeah.
We almost couldn't breathe when we left that bus. It was like, yo.
Hey, I remember there was a night that we was hitting the craps. And I was cleaning house on everybody that night, bro. Remember that shit?
Yep, I remember that. Yep. He was cleaning house. Yep.
You got a question over there?
Oh man, I just wanted to give you like major props, OG. Like I've seen your show, I've seen you in all the videos and everything, and I just respect homeboy. Like I really, 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 you know, you and Jam Master Jay were two of the DJs that, you know, DJs like myself look at as like, yo, they're the first like hip hop bands. You know what I mean? Like the way that you and Jay commanded the stage, it was like, that's when, you know, seeing you with the Beasties and seeing Jay with Run DMC was like, I can do it. And you're a main, you know, inspiration for that. You're one of the main, along with Jam Master Jay, sir. So I just want to give you all the flowers I can right
now. I got to co-sign that too, because, you know, as you both know, there's many styles of DJs. There's exhibition DJs, there's party rock DJs, and there's guys that fucking play songs. Right. But you guys were the like the universal DJs. You can go rock parties, you could exhibition style, but the difference is that you guys could go on a stage in front of thousands and orchestrate the show from the turntables. That's a different skill set. Not all DJs are built for that.
Yeah. Not all DJs are built for DJing, and then at the same time, you know, getting the crowd hype on the mic as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you're a hype man as well as a DJ at that point.
Exactly. So, you know, that's a hard gift to have. You know what I mean? Jam Master Jay was good at that as well. He would start the show up, what's my name? Jam Master Jay. So, you know, doing that, controlling the crowd on the mic as well as the turntables is a double gift to have. You know what I mean? I remember, you know, Ben and I, you know, knew how to rap and write the whole time. When I first got the Beastie Boys, and they used to be on stage, you know, drunk and trying to perform at the same time, it'd be times where they'll get off beat on a rhyme and they won't know how to catch up to the beat. And then I would know the rhyme and I'll come in and interrupt and be like, da, 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 and then they'll catch back on. And that comes from knowing how to actually rap.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like I said, that's a gift to have. You know what I mean?
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
And y'all had like a chemistry, like all y'all, even when they implemented the band, there was just like, you know, the show to us as fans, right? Because I mean, Cypress Hill, we was fans of y'all. So every second we had the chance to watch y'all's shows, bro, we were like fucking taking notes and all that shit, like from the transitions. Because I mean, you like realistically, you guys influenced us. Like in the documentary, they were talking about how in the early days they would come in and rock with the band and then they would flip to a DJ set. But this was before they knew what they were really doing. This, right. You know, slightly before you came in. But you guys sort of did that same get down, you know, like you guys did like a hip hop part of the show and then you went into the punk rock part of the show. And then at times you mixed, you know, like you guys used the band to recreate hip hop songs and then do shit on that. And that's something that we were influenced by, because Cypress, we took a band with us. We didn't necessarily have them play any hip hop shit. We made them play raw shit, and the turntables were the hip hop portion of the show. But it was definitely, you know, influenced by what you guys were doing. I mean, fuck. But your chemistry on stage, I mean, you could tell everybody, you know, had fun.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, you know, Check Your Head, which actually was the first experience of going and performing hip hop and punk songs. So we used to rehearse in the beginning. You know, I was like, man, how we gonna make this work? You know what I'm saying? We was all, you know, messing with the set list 100 times, trying to figure out, nah, this record might come on too slow. This record might be a little too fast. Well, let's mellow out first and then come back with the punk shit. So putting the set list together every night was always a journey. You know what I mean? So we just experimenting, and then the more we did, the better it got.
Hey, let me tell you something. So when I was rocking with Prophets of Rage, right, we'd all tell tour stories of you know, who had blown us off stage. And I constantly tell a story on how, you know, we had to go on after Rage Against the Machine. This is before they became like the shit. They were on the bubble of that. We were already, you know, on our game. So we were headlining this show and they fucking killed it. I mean, we killed it.
Right.
To us, they, you know, we felt like they blew us out because of the sound quality and everything. It was just humongous. It was crazy. And he goes, well, let me tell you something, dude. We were playing with the Beastie Boys one time and I was looking at their set list and I was like, oh man, they're gonna like, because, you know, to an artist, when you're a fan, you look at the set list and you think of the songs that you would want to hear within that set list. And he, you know, when he was looking at it, it sort of didn't make sense to him, right? Mm-hmm. Like, oh man, I would have thought, you know, because I guess he saw it, you know, on the stage somewhere during sound check or something like that. And he said later on, when you guys came on, and in that order, that same fucking order, he saw y'all destroyed the show. He said they got us that day. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't with the set list that was right there. He didn't think that y'all would get them, but y'all got them that day. And it was one of the things I remember him saying is you know, because to us, yeah, we're always analyzing. Okay, what songs go best together, right? And sometimes what one guy might think, the other guys see it and like, I don't know about that. But when the fucking fans hear it, they're gonna fucking react. However they react.
I mean, that's how it was back then. It was competition. You know what I mean? Fun competition.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember by the time we did the Ill Communication album, when we did the Lollapalooza tour.
Right.
I mean, we were on a mission to kick everybody's ass. I remember that, like
you did too.
On a mission, like, yo, we gotta kick everybody's ass. And I didn't personally like the Smashing Pumpkins. I did not like them at all. I didn't like their attitudes. I didn't like the way they moved. I didn't like at the bottom they was cocky. I couldn't wait to kick their ass every night. I couldn't wait.
And you did, because I caught a few of them shows. I mean, because we played a few of those in that where a couple bands couldn't fulfill the obligation. I think one was at Dominguez Hills.
Well, I think that was Funkadelic that fell out on that one.
Yeah, but we were right there, so I was like, let's go see the Beasties. They're going on right now, and man, just the reaction, like like the energy that the crowd carries when they hear those songs, and no matter what fucking order that y'all were playing them in, y'all were playing them tight. 2, the transitions were great. 3, people were just
energy.
Embracing it all, no matter, like, again, no matter what song order it was in, and y'all were kicking everybody's ass. I know that if anyone played after you guys, right, whoever had to play after you guys in that time period, they were in trouble. They better had a fucking awesome show with the same amount of awesome songs to go head to head, because you guys were fucking splashing people. I mean, we learned how to do it from watching you guys.
Right.
Straight the fuck up.
Remember we did the Arsenio Hall show?
Oh, that was awesome.
That was awesome, yo. That's a classic right there.
That was awesome. That contributed to Cypress Hill's ban on fucking network TV. Like it was the Arsenio show and Saturday Night Live. But I didn't feel bad for Saturday Night Live, because that was a choice we made as a band. Like, fuck it, if we get banned, we get banned, and it is what it is. That's our choice. We're those guys. When we did it with you guys, and you guys got banned right along with us, I felt horrible, because I thought they would just stick it to us.
Right.
But we
didn't care. We was happy it came off the way it did.
It was awesome.
It was off the chain, and I got a chance to kick a verse on top of it too.
You sure did. If I had known that we were going to get banned, I would have fucking lit that joint right there in front of that crowd, bro. I would have lit that bitch up heavy. But we're cool with Arsenio now. Shit, that's the homie right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, bygones. You know what I'm saying? In reality, he probably didn't even know.
Right. He wasn't really running the show. He was more just a host. You know what I'm saying?
Networks, they run the shit, man. Hey, let me ask you this: have you had a chance to watch the doc?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah.
How'd you feel about it? Like, did you feel that was a good representation of the story?
Yeah. Spike Jonze is incredible. So once I knew Spike was doing it, I knew it wasn't going to be no bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he killed it.
I thought it was a good job telling the story. I mean, of course, there's a lot of stuff that was left out, but between an hour and a half, you can only say but so much when you have a long career.
My only thing about it is the lack of the part of your story in there.
Right. It would have been, believe it or not, my story in there would have added a whole lot more flavor to it.
I mean, because you were there from day one. You know what I'm saying? And I thought they should have spoke more on that, and even the transition from you to Mike and explaining that.
Right.
That would have been dope, because I think people would see, how they were trying to transition.
Right.
And it would have been paying tribute to you too. So that was my only thing about that. But I thought it was a great story, man. I mean, and being around y'all in some of that time, like when they had the Grand Royal Studios over there and
right,
all that stuff, and the time we were touring together, and remix that tied us together. And even, I don't know if you remember this, but remember we did this show in it was Miami or somewhere in Florida. It was us. It was Beasties, I think, House of Pain, and us, and it fucking rained heavy on us. And
I remember that. Yeah,
we couldn't go on because there was like 3-4 inches of water on the stage or something like that, right?
Hey, didn't we take a picture that day with all of us? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I seen that picture recently. Somebody posted it.
Oh yeah, that picture. Yeah, it's like we're all backstage. We're chilling on this dock.
Yep.
Like the truck docks, whatever and shit. And we had just finished the crap game right there.
Yeah, you was killing it. You was killing it. I came over for a second. I seen you was hot. I was like, let me just watch.
The hot hand.
Watch.
Word up. Hey, so aside from like, you know, all the content that you're about to put out with Jay's hat, are you fucking with any music? You producing any music right now?
Yeah, actually, me and Mario C just got the masters for the Horror album. So we're gonna
Nice.
do all of that because we got stuff we never released from that album, and probably do like a anniversary of it. Figure out a couple of new joints to do, and put it together and put it out. See what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Hey,
I'm producing 2 other artists as well.
if you ever need verses, you already know you could call the doctor, and I'm on call for surgery 24 hours a day.
Definitely got to have you up in the place. Definitely, the mix is too dope not to have you up in there.
Let me ask you this, because I mean, you know, you're from NYC, but you've been in ATL for what, like 15 years, 20 years now?
I've actually bought a house out here in the early 90s, but I was living in LA. I had a condo in LA at the same time, so I didn't get to come out here as much because I was recording with the Beasties. I was doing my own album out there. But yeah, I've had a place out here for like 20 years. Yeah.
How do you feel like the cannabis culture is grown out there? I mean, do you see it opening up? We was just talking with Cujo the other day from Goody, and he was saying that it seems like it's opening up.
It's moving slow. It's Georgia, so they're moving slower than everybody else.
Right.
Like they're gonna probably be the last ones to say, "Okay, you got me." You know what I mean? They loosen up on how much you can carry with you now. You know what I mean? They don't sweat you about that as like they used to. But as far as dispensaries and going like that,
they're a while away, right?
Yeah, they're a while away. You know, it's a red state, and they moving slow. But I think eventually, I would say probably, my guess, within the next 5 years.
That's not bad though, because whenever you think in 5 years, it might be 3.
Right.
Could be.
I'm
maybe.
thinking that maybe.
E-Zone, what you got?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, all right, so you said you never kicked it with, like, you're like, oh, you didn't really kick it around too many white boys, so you meant the Beastie Boys. And I'm like, okay, I imagine that being such a big, like, not culture shock at that time, but it's just like kind of different because it's not like, today where everybody's like intermingled. Like, I know you must have done some white boy crazy shit like with them, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? I want to know what was some shit you're like, y'all really, we about to take acid right now? Like, what happened?
Man, yeah, when you hanging around, white guys and you're young, you do the wild shit too. Definitely a lot of wild drugs back then. I would probably say shrooms. I remember when they first started doing shrooms.
Yeah.
Well, we ain't do shrooms. That we was smoking some dust, but some shrooms.
Yeah, that's
like, what are y'all eating shrooms? I'm bugging out. Like, y'all getting high for shrooms, mushrooms? They're like, yeah. So finally, somewhere in the middle of the tour, I wound up taking some shrooms with them, and I remember getting on the turntables, yo, and I was bugging the fuck out. Like,
that must have been a trip.
I was like, everything was fucking, it seemed like the whole stage was just spinning. It seemed like I wasn't standing on the ground. And then I remember Adam Yao climbed all the way up on the speakers. If you remember like the venues when they have the big speakers hanging way up top, this dude climbed all the way up to the top. And I'm looking up like, if he falls, is Cool G rap.
It's
He
cool.
was
Rap.
It's a cool
rap. But you know, he climbed up there and climbed back down, man. So I'll probably say, yeah, the shrooms, man. You know.
Yeah, sure.
I never tried the sniffing glue. No, I never tried that.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
The shrooms were good.
Yeah, I think that's just enough to like, I guess, get you out of like your comfort zone, and then you're like, all right, this is a whole different trip.
Yeah, but I did it that one time. I didn't want it no more. Because it messed with your stomach afterwards.
Yeah, that shit twists your stomach up.
Yeah, I was like, yo, you didn't tell me that was gonna happen. Like,
you got some?
Forget about it.
How about it, Steve?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you how, like, back in the days when you were DJing, you know, the Check Your Head tour and Ill Communication, you know, the instrumentals for the Beasties weren't available for any of the DJs. Like, how would you get the certain, like, special presses of the instrumentals to play? And would you, like, I mean, because those are really sought after, I'm sure, still. Like, how was the, you know, how was the process?
Yeah, I would get special presses pressed up, like a certain amount of records. You know, because back then we didn't use Serato. So
right.
I would
all vinyl.
Right, all vinyl. So I would have probably like, you know, 10 to 15 copies of instrumentals. You know, and if those go bad, we order another batch. You know, so yeah. I had the License to Ill instrumentals, I had the Paul's Boutique instrumentals, I had the Check Your Head instrumentals, the Ill Communication instrumentals. Yeah, so yep. You know, back then without Serato, being a DJ, you had to really be on point because you have to stop the record in the middle somewhere to transition into the next song.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we never let the whole record play to the end, so it'd be like stop, damn, come back in like that. So you had to have the light hands. You know what I mean? When I first started DJing for the Beasties, like, you know, when they used to jump up around and throw the beers, and I couldn't hardly DJ because, you know, the stages wasn't steady. So they jumping up and down crazy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he was jumping, and I'm like, yo, get away from me. You know what I mean? So finally, you know, we had a discussion, and on the License to Ill, you know, they built a big Budweiser. I used to stand up, get up high off the ground. You know, that worked.
Didn't you have like springs or shocks in your shit or something like that?
Yeah, at first, yeah, when we built the Budweiser, we had it so we can bounce a little bit. But still, some shows it still would jump. So then the next time I would come out the sky and hang without hitting the ground.
Suspended. Damn.
Yeah. Come down, and then before I hit the ground, I just hang. So that was perfect.
No feedback, nothing.
Everything was good.
Hey, two things real quick. What was your favorite Beastie song to perform while you were on the set? And two, how pissed off were the Beasties at Bobo for rolling the Woodstock with us?
All right, let me get it together here, man. Okay, let's see. I'll probably say for the License to Ill album, my favorite song to perform was probably Rhyming and Stealing.
Dope song.
Because the breakdown of Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves, you know, they used to whisper it, Ali Baba and the 40 Thieves.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time the beat comes back in, it's like, black, Ali Baba, and the crowd used to go crazy.
It's
crazy.
That, yeah.
Yeah, the way that Led Zeppelin beat hit used to go crazy. So I'll say from that album, that would be that one. Check Your Head, I'll probably say, So What You Want?
Smash.
I skipped Paul's Boutique. I liked Car Thief. You know, I like to do Car Thief. You know, Ill Communication. It was between Sure Shot and Sabotage.
Sabotage is fucking killer.
Yeah, Sabotage is like the knockout punch. Like, we did that, it was time to go home. You know, it was like, that shit is crazy.
You guys ever do Get It Together live?
Yeah, we did it together, I think once with Q-Tip. And as far as Bobo, disappearing on us and going to Cypress show. I'll never forget this. You know, because me and Bobo was cool. We was tight. You know what I mean? On the tour, we hang out everything. He never told me he was cutting out. I'm like, yo, I go knock on his, I think I went and knocked on his door. I'm like, yo, y'all seen Bobo? And they was like, yo, Bobo left. He went to do Cypress Hill. I'm like, he went to do Cypress Hill? They was like, yeah, man, what are we gonna do? He just cut out. I was like, wow, what are you gonna do? Oh, they was like, they wasn't happy at all. They was shocked, mad, everything above. You know what I mean? He just cut out.
And when he told us the story, he said he left a note under Mike D's door.
Right.
You know, I'm going to do Woodstock with Cypress Hill. I'll be back for the next show. That's cold-blooded.
That's cold-blooded right there. I ain't mad at him though, you know. That was a once-in-a-lifetime gig, you know what I mean? So,
you know, I salute them because, you know, they gave him a pass, and, you know, when he came back, he continued to play with y'all for a while and shit. And it was cool because, like, you know, he was when we were off, he was playing with y'all. When y'all were off, he was playing with us. And he was like the first guy doing that type of shit in hip hop, like playing with two major bands and shit, you know.
And not only that, like, he was the best percussionist that the Beasties had. You know?
Yeah.
And then because Bobo was just incredible, man. Take his finger and make that crazy noise on the percussion.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the woo.
Yeah.
He taught me the technique, bro. I could play that shit now, bro.
Yeah. You've been
No,
watching.
yeah, like, you know, the one thing that, you know, they could, you know, take solace in is that, you know, we made him a member of the group and we didn't just jack him for that day, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's why I told Bobo, I was like, yo, that was the best decision you made in your career. You know what I mean? Because they actually made you a part of the group. You know what I mean? So you there. You know what I mean? So, like I said, best decision he made. You know what I mean?
Word up. Salute to that guy, man. He's like, you know, dual citizen, Argentina and American shit.
Yeah. Johnny Plow Vision.
Plow Vision. Word up, man. What you sipping on in the quarantine right now? You sipping on anything in particular?
Well, not right this second, but usually I'm sipping on some Crown, you know, just Crown and ice. You know what I mean? Then I go to the backyard and blaze one up, you know, in a little cabana. Go back there and blaze it up and drink a little Crown, and I'm good money.
We got to send you some of our Insane OG from Sweetwater. They're a brewing company based out of ATL. They're the one with the big 420 on it. Yeah. We got to send you some. Yeah, we did a collab with them.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I need that plug.
I got you. You're right there, so it'll be easy. I got you.
Yeah. Is that where you're at? Are you in the ATL?
Yeah, I'm in Atlanta. Yep.
I'm gonna ask you this, like, in regards to, like, you know, there's certain states that it has lifted the ban, and I mean, you know, coronavirus is on everybody's mind. Like, how's the shift out there? Like, they didn't lift the ban out here in LA, but, like, you know, holy shit, people kind of acting like it, but, like, out there, like, I was like, is it taking a turn for the worse? Because I'm like, if you guys have movie theaters open back up, like, what the fuck's going on?
Yo, crazy shit is out here. It's so spread, you know, like that. It's so spread out in Georgia. Like, you could be living out here and I may never see you. You know what I mean?
Big state. Yeah.
Big state. So about a week ago, I go gun shopping. I go to buy a new gun. So I had to drive out a little distance, you know, from my house, probably like 50 minutes, 60 minutes from the crib. And I get to this town, you know, when I go out, I'm strapped up. I got my gloves, I got my mask on, boom, right? I park, I get out the car, I walk into the gun shop. Nobody has on gloves and masks.
Damn.
Nobody. They don't have no social distancing. I walked in there, I felt like I just walked in the Twilight Zone. You know what I mean? Everybody looking at me like, damn, they know it. Boy ain't from around here. We don't do that over here. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, I'm still keeping my distance. I'm like, okay, give me that, and I'm out.
Damn.
Yeah, you know, some people are taking it lightly because they know they're not going to really be affected. You know what I mean? Like themselves. And the worry is that they might not be affected, but they carry the symptoms that they could pass on to somebody who can be.
Exactly.
And that's the whole shit. And they, you know, in spite of, you know, them trying to tell people that, motherfuckers act like they don't one, either they don't understand still, or they just don't give a fuck.
Yep, they don't, and it's crazy, man. That people actually still like out here. Like where I live at, I live in a mixed neighborhood. You know, I got Spanish across the street, black next to me, Mexican around the corner, mix. The Mexicans didn't get the memo. Every time I go around the corner to like do a little jog, man, they in there playing soccer, having a ball, hugging, kissing. They doing it good, baby. They having a good time over there. They got the beers popping. To the police says I had to come and shut them down about last week. But man, they was having a ball. I was like, man, they ain't get the memo over here. These guys were having a ball.
Yeah, you know, it's a trip because some motherfuckers just, you know, they're like, you know what, fuck that shit. I don't believe none of it, or
right, exactly.
Or they're making more of it than it really is.
Yeah.
And there's, you know, obviously always a reason why motherfuckers don't trust the media or what the federal government says, because, you know,
right.
Constant bullshit throughout the decades of our existence and before us. You know, misinformation, disinformation, and, you know, bullshit on top of bullshit comes from both sources, right? So, you know, motherfuckers just don't know who to believe or who to trust right now. That's the problem, I think, because, you know, the media has gotten in a war in itself.
Yeah.
Two sides pushing two sides. When media, news and all that shit, they're supposed to be objective, non-biased.
Right.
But you see the difference that you know, there are some outlets that are that, but most of them have their fucking agendas, and right now the agenda is fear on all fucking ends, and some motherfuckers ain't buying into the fear.
Right, you know, and then they give you mixed they put out mixed news. Like one person will say one thing, then somebody else will say something else, then one doctor will say this, then the next doctor get on there and say that. It's like, man, who am I supposed to believe right now? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the problem. People have, you know, they're like, they don't know who the fuck to believe right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's a trip, man. And you know, down here in Cali, you know, the mayor and the governor are trying to double down, like, you know, hey, y'all, we need to stay in another couple of weeks fucking around, because we got people going to beaches and shit.
I see that.
Like it's nothing. It's like, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Right. Yeah.
What are y'all doing?
Yeah.
And you know, it is what it is. You can only do so much yourself. You know what I'm saying? Other motherfuckers got to be doing their part. So.
Yep. Everybody got to do their part. I can't wait till the shows get back popping, man.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
Till next year, bro. Like out here, it's like all 2020 is canceled. Even if we're good by like November, they're like, yo, this shit ain't happening.
Yeah, it's crazy how this shit is happening right now.
Oh man, forget about it. If you have a party, you can't have no more than 10 people.
Like we gonna see who really real friends.
Yeah, for real.
You're really real friends.
Yo, the crazy shit is your background kind of looks like G-Sun Studio, where the Beastie used to record at. The way your pictures are, with all like the funny looking action shots and be all kind of pictures like that in the background.
You know, I keep it there because it just keeps my creative vibes going around. You know, like I always wanted to paint, but you know, I'm just not good at painting and shit. So I just started my art collection.
Right. Yeah, man. I gotta write my own book. I'm trying to figure out when I'm gonna do it. I got a whole lot of stories that's gonna be crazy.
I bet like an audiobook version would be crazy because you could feel some of your you know, like if you're telling some of the stories, you could definitely feel like the passion behind some of the shit. Like you're like, man, look at the way he's saying it. Like, you know, that shit happened.
Yeah, I mean, because even like the Beasties book, like it was so much that wasn't said in the book. You know what I mean? I was like, man, there's a whole lot that ain't been said in this book. Like people said, like my part of the book, like in the book, like none of that was in the book. You know what I mean? So when I spoke to Adam, I was like, yo, man, like the book, like, man, it's like I didn't really exist in the book. Like, what happened?
That's fucked up, man.
No. And he was like, yo, man, we have wrote so much that the writer took out a whole lot. what have you. And, the book was like over 1,000 pages. I forgot the number, but it was a lot of pages and they took it out. But when I write my book, it's going to be crazy.
It's going to be like that Jordan documentary that just came down. Everybody's like, oh man, I didn't know Jordan had those kind of stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the thing when people put out like stuff like that. It's always one of those things where the whole story can never really get told because it's too big of a goddamn story. You know what I mean?
Right.
They could probably write a part 2 on that.
Yeah, absolutely. They could have actually wrote like year by year because there's so much. They could have wrote a story on License to Ill. Then could have did a whole nother story on Paul's Boutique. They could have did a whole nother story on Check Your Head. Could have been so much. You know what I'm saying? So,
do you think they'll actually get into to telling more of the story aside from that first one we just saw?
As far as what, like book or documentary or something like that?
Yeah, book, doc, whatever. Because like you said, there's so much more to the story, I think.
Right.
But what they did there was pretty dope because
it was still dope. Yeah, it was still dope, but it's a lot more to it.
Yeah.
So I think it would be a good idea if they did, further down the line, a couple of years down the line or what have you, come back with another one.
Whether they do or not remains to be seen though, right?
You know what I mean? I don't think they really wanted to elaborate on the crazy days as much.
Yeah, because they had some crazy ass days.
Yeah, crazy days. Like they made Eminem look like an angel.
Yeah, because they didn't really talk about the crazy stories. They just sort of talked about the path, but not the crazy stories within the path.
Right. Yeah, it was a lot of crazy stories within the path too. Crazy, a lot. Every day was a story on tour with these guys. Every day.
I would imagine that looking back now, like with who these guys became as men, and like, evolving in their way of thinking from when they were creating the first to where they are now. I mean, they probably look back on some of those stories and cringe because, they were so fucking crazy. Yeah. Like, cause I know we had our times and I know I look back at some of that and shit and be like, damn, it's that shit is some other shit. So I would imagine because they were like really wild for a time.
Yeah. I mean, we all definitely, as young men, did crazy stuff at some point that you look back and say, damn, I would never do that now. I can't believe I did that. You know what I mean? So, but
you got any B-real stories like that he hasn't told us?
I mean, B was so cool. I mean, I remember when I went to B's house though, you had that crib with the pool in the backyard.
Yeah.
And you had the chick you was dating at the time. What was her name?
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Oh man, that's exactly why I wanted to ask that question.
Yo,
of course you did.
Come on, bro. Speaking to your friends that like were there when you guys did legendary shit, it's like, oh man, I bet B-Real doesn't want to mention this story.
That's right. We used to, did.
But it wound up being a incredible smoke story because you had the gas mask, the smoke gas mask.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and that was like, damn near killed me. Like,
That's right. We had you've seen these Z-Zone and so have you, C minus, but you've seen the recreation of them. We had like the very first one that we put together, right? And it was a gas mask with the long ass acrylic shit and a big ass bowl right there. Yeah. And we would fucking, take massive hits out of that shit. And this was what, 97, 98? 99?
Mid-90s.
Mid-90s, yeah, probably 96.
Yeah.
Was this like during like the hot knife era when you were known for doing the oil shit too?
No, we weren't really doing that shit. This was like all flour. We'd have a big ass bowl of flour packed, like a big one. We would just get the fucking mask all blazed out, teary-eyed, pasty skin.
Yeah, that shit clogs up all your face.
It does.
That joint right there, boy, that almost knocked me out. I got dizzy.
Did you ever hit that bong, the one they took on stage, Excalibur?
No, I never hit that one.
I hate that shit, and that shit almost made me faint the first time I hit it. Yeah. It like takes the life out of you.
Right.
Oh yeah, I mean that bong, it almost put Tommy Chong in the hospital.
Wow.
Come on, man, that's kind of fucked up that you guys even made him hit it, man. Like, the dude.
Well, we didn't make him do nothing. He wanted to hit it.
What?
He wanted to hit it. He wanted that smoke. You know what I'm saying? He asked us, he said, "Hey, Cypress Hill, I want to see that bong. Bring it back out here." All right, fuck it.
Okay.
That's our mentor. Far be it from us to say no to him. You know what I'm saying?
Did he walk up the stage or did y'all carry him?
No, like we brought it back on stage. I had my boys bring it on stage, and then I walked it to him. He took a hit, and after he took his hit, I just like walked off with the bong because I figured, it doesn't need to be there. He hit it, and it's a big, tall piece of glass. We didn't want to break it, right. So I took it, and I didn't pay attention to what was going on after. But he had, he had a hard time taking that hit in, and I think he had to go get some air. Like he had to go get some oxygen or something like that. Because it's a big bong, you know what I mean? It was big for us. But we had been hitting it for a time, so right, Bobo and I already had the shit down. Anybody else who hit it, it was an experience for them, you know what I mean?
Because there's a technique to it, you know what I'm saying? I was like, and somebody tries to clear it all in one hit, try to be all bad, and it's like, nah, that's not how this one goes down.
No,
come out there and get knocked out.
Yeah, it's like observe and fucking learn, but don't just, it's not the thing to take risk on.
No, you don't take a risk on that one right there. I mean, that one, it wasn't such a bad bong to hit. It was the one after it that was the major one. But I mean, you had to have big lungs, and there was a technique to that shit. And I'm surprised it didn't break in all the times that we've rolled around with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's retired now, so we ain't gonna be fucking around with that thing anytime soon.
Right.
But that you needed big lungs for. Have you come across any smoke out there in ATL that you were impressed by?
Oh man. Well, a couple of years ago, yeah. But as of late, not really.
Not so much.
Nah, not like Cali.
It's tough. It's tough to find Cali weed, you know what I'm saying? Anywhere.
The only time you get lucky is when I run into a homie from Cali. That's out there. You know what I mean? You're like, yo, okay, what up? All right, cool, let's get with it.
Yeah. Pretty soon, man. Y'all are gonna be dealing with it pretty soon. I have a feeling.
Well, as soon as the quarantine is over, I'm on the first flight. I've never sat this long.
Man, I can't imagine like motherfuckers that are like really like that are weed heads in states that fucking they don't have the dispensaries. They must be going fucking nuts.
They're becoming alcoholics.
Yeah.
like yo, man, they can't. You can't get some in like a state like I don't know, like North Dakota or some shit. Like damn, man, like that's you're probably gonna look for something to take the edge off.
Right.
Like liquor store is gonna be there.
Motherfuckers are waiting for this shit to get lifted so they can take a trip down to their whatever state is the nearest that's got the most weed available.
No, then quarantine with a room full of smoke.
Do you dab at all, or do you just stick to flower?
I'm more of a flower guy,
Have you ever hit the dab, like taking a dab real quick just to see what it's like?
Nah, I haven't experienced the dab yet.
I was like, I always like to ask, man, because like usually when somebody says no, like they usually have a story. It's like, yeah, somebody fucked that up for me.
Nah, not me. I'm old school.
That's the thing. Most old school heads, they don't want to fuck around with the dabs because I mean it's like it's impactful. and it tastes good as fuck, but it's strong.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been using this shit, and I started. It feels like, damn, man, 8 hits in, your eyes start feeling really heavy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man.
You real? How come you're not smoking, bro?
Me?
Yeah, bro. I was like, it's been like 20 minutes, bro.
Light it up.
I only rolled one, man. I was unprepared. But I could smoke this one.
Oh, man, you need to light that up. You still have that?
No, this is a new one, man.
Oh, that's not the napalm?
No, you want to see the napalm? Hold on 1 second. I got the napalm for you.
B got everything. B's like The Price is Right. If you can pull out a napalm out of your jacket, you'll win.
Oh, that's him.
Oh, shit. Right on.
Napalm right there. Ooh. The funky filled tip. To put it in perspective.
What you got on the one that you rolled or Pedro?
This is gas. Blue ice, blue icy.
Icy blue.
Yeah.
Icy blue.
That
And
shit.
then this is whatever napalm had in it.
It's napalm OG.
Napalm OG.
I smoked one of those straight to the head, and
Ooh, that looks dangerous.
I did that on 420.
yeah, it takes you there.
Hey, let me ask you this. Speaking of 420, Hura, do a lot of people throw? I mean, they got to be throwing like some 420 events. Have you done any of the 420 events out there in ATL, or are they like limited?
No, 420 events is pretty big deal now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've DJed at a 420 party last year out here. You know, it's not as big as California, but it's a big deal when it happens. 420 comes around.
I know that there's a lot of advocacy and activism out there in ATL, because I mean we played some of those shows. Like I remember we were playing one for a cannabis rally down there, and it was like the stage was on the back of a flatbed truck. That was the stage, the flatbed truck.
Wow.
And that was in like 92 or something like that. So I know that they've been throwing events that are cannabis based, and 420 is definitely like the fucking alley-oop as an event. Have you seen the growth in more 420 events down there in ATL?
Yeah, man, definitely. The growth is just like, like I said, the laws are loosening up a little bit, so people are feeling more comfortable to do stuff like that. Like now they even have the little trucks where you can buy like the lollipops or candy stuff. They have those little trucks on the streets now. Before, that was a no-no out here. You couldn't do anything. You know what I mean? So, but 420, Piedmont Park on 420 is a smoke festival.
Have you been playing any of them? Like, do you get called to DJ any of them yet?
I DJ'd that one last year on 420.
Oh.
It was at a club, and it was Smokey and the Bandit in there.
Hey, let me ask you this, because like, when you do 420 events, a lot of rappers get burned out when they go and they perform at these events, because as artists, we have our fan base and all this shit. We go out and do these shows, and it's raucous and it's rah-rah, and the energy is crazy. But when you go do a cannabis event, it's very fucking chill, because everybody is high as fuck. Right.
Ain't nobody's out there falling drunk all over the place. Everybody's just mellow.
Yeah.
Mellow.
So I think you gotta, like, as someone coming from like the hip hop shit where you're used to like the hype shit, I think you kind of gotta not have those expectations in order to do good in that arena. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I like DJing for 420 because the crowd, like you say, they're so mellow. Everybody's so cool. Nobody's looking for no smoke. I mean, like the smoke. They looking for the real smoke.
Yeah, they're looking for the real smoke. Where can I get some smoke?
Right, exactly. Ain't nobody looking for no problems. Everybody just want to get high and laugh. You know what I mean? So I love doing the 420 joints.
Man.
Just, you know, I'm not prepared with the roll up. I'm all the way upstairs on my 3rd floor. I try to not do it up on my 3rd floor. I always save it for like the bottom floor is where I keep my stashes. And then I go outside my cabana, blaze away.
Word up, man. Hey, I want to thank you for taking the time, for jumping on with us, man. You know, it's always great chopping it up with you. And when all this shit is done, we get down to ATL, man. You know, I'm definitely gonna hit you up.
Yeah,
we'll smoke some flavors for certain.
Definitely, but I won't be hitting that big bong. You ain't gonna kill me now.
I ain't bringing that. That shit is in retirement.
Yeah, man. I'm old school. That little fat one you rolled up. What was that again? What was that called? The napalm?
Yes, this is Exhibit's line. You know Exhibit, right?
Yeah,
This is his line. Is in his cannabis line right here. It's called Napalm, and this is one of his pre-rolls. It's the grenade.
Whoa!
It's got like weed. It's got like concentrate. So it's like. So it's that shit right there.
You smoke it like do you take it off the grenade or do you smoke it through the?
No, you take it off. Take it off. There's a tip on the end, one of our funky field tips.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like the fact that you keep the jar is just a good head stash jar. You put your nuggets in there, and you stick in those grenade jar.
Yeah, that's the other thing is you put your little nuggets in there.
I need one of those.
Oh, we'll make sure you get one, dog.
Need one of those. I like
that. Look, we all have an example. I show you empty one C minus. Show them how it looks like full.
like that.
Word up, man. Hey, let them know where they can find you, big dog.
Yo, Instagram, DJ Hurricane 1, Twitter, DJ Hurricane 2, Facebook, DJ Hurricane. Bada bing, bada boom. That's what it is.
That's what's up, man.
Word up.
You got any shout outs, C-Zone?
Yeah, New High and Hungry is out now. Make sure you guys go to BREALTV, check it out, Quarantine Edition. You know what I'm saying? I had to do this one solo just because, you know, LA's a crazy time right now. But check it out. Also, I do late night Terp Talk on my High and Hungry Instagram. People call in and win shit because I got a phone that record the phone calls and make animations out of them. So check that out. You know, and shout out to everybody going to the website and buying merch and the mask and all that shit. Flavorsbyezone.com.
C minus.
Yeah, I want to say find me on all the social medias, C minus fan 4 at Instagram. I'm starting to do more sets on Twitch now. Find me on there, C minus fan 4. Facebook, C minus fantastic 4. And thanks everyone on Mixcloud for listening to my mixes.
Yeah, I got to check it out.
Word up, man. This has been another Dr. Greenthumb Show podcast. Make sure you check out the smoke boxes. Visit Dr. Greenthumb's for your medicine. Stay home if you don't need to get out. And if you do go out, use gloves and a mask. Stay safe. Be smart. Don't be stupid. One.
Peace.
Hey, thanks, Hura.